We're going to
Okay.
be live in a couple of seconds. It's the Shant and Adi podcast, guys. Welcome back to the second
Yes.
episode. Shant, how you feeling tonight? How's everything?
Good. 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 I'm excited that we got to episode number 2.
We made it. We made it here. Guys, me and Shant were actually just talking right before we got onto this. I don't even know what you guys wanted. I still haven't figured out what exactly a podcast is completely, but Sean's figuring it out with our IT department. And we were talking about it, and we want to, I guess, discuss some issues maybe that happened that day or that week. And what we want to do is maybe before we dive into some of what happened in our week or in our year, we want to talk about like one specific thing, one specific problems that you guys will probably appreciate hearing about and how we chose to solve it. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. You'll be like, isn't that kind of bad for business? But that's just how it plays out in what we're about to discuss. But Shant, you were talking about something kind of interesting. Tell me about, because you haven't told me the complete story yet. Tell me about this customer that you had a little bit of a problem with.
A little bit more than a little problem, but so hopefully he doesn't hear this. I mean,
You should
so
send him the link to the podcast.
Yeah. I'd be like, hey, we made an episode about you. No, so what happened was I got in a little bit of an argument with a client, and you know me, man. Like, I'm very level-headed. I'm not an aggressor type. I don't argue with people. But I got in an argument with one of my clients on Sunday. And today is, what is it, Wednesday? Thursday? I don't know.
Today's Thursday, yes.
Okay, so a couple days ago, yep.
You got into an argument with them, and what? Like, have you guys, is it like one of those things? Like, you guys aren't texting each other now? You guys playing the waiting game? Like,
So
sounds like a bad date. Like, what happened?
So I'll kind of break down the story. He's a client of mine that I'm selling his house right now, okay? I'm selling his house. It's on the market right now. I sold him their family's house, so they moved into their new home. So now we're selling the house that's vacant right now. So that's kind of the story, okay? He is Middle Eastern descent, kind of like us, right? So he's like in his 50s, but we got to be really close, right? Like we could talk to each other like civilized, you know.
When you say Middle Eastern descent and like us, what do you mean? What nationality is he actually? Let's be full disclosure right now. What actual nationality is he?
So he's Iraqi. But he's Christian. It's weird. I don't want to get too
Iraqi
thing, but yeah, he's like Christian, but like it's kind of weird. I don't know what he's. But
similar, I'd say similar. But we're from Syria. We're Armenians. We're from Syria.
Yeah,
so sort of similar. It's like almost like probably like dealing with your dad, I would say.
He actually acts like he's my dad. So yep.
Yeah, good. Okay, all right. So yeah, go on.
2 dads now, which is great. So he's a very tough guy. He's a good business guy. He's bought and sold. He owns like 20 properties now. He's a very good, like stern business guy. He knows what he wants. He knows the deal. And originally, when I first spoke to him, he said, "Hey, we're gonna buy a house. When you sell it, you're gonna do it for a discount." And I said, "Okay, I'll do it for a little bit of a discount. I don't do it often."
He prefaced this whole task of selling his house with, "You're gonna do it for a discount." So that's red flag number 1.
Yes.
Great. Okay.
Yeah. And I did it because, you know, it's just you're newer in the business. Not new. I'm not that new, but you know, I'm newer in the business, and sometimes you got to cut a little bit to get some business. And I don't do it often, even if they are buying and selling. But he was in a situation that, you know, needed a little bit of help. So I was like, okay, let's finagle it and make it work to be able to get 2 deals, right? So he bought a house. He bought a house for more expensive, so it was a higher purchase price. So I made more money on that side. Selling his house, we agreed to a term that was less commission than normal, right? We had the house listed. We got an offer, right? And he's like, hey, Sean, he told me from the beginning, I need this number, right? I need this number. Otherwise, I can't sell it. I was like, okay, that's what we're going to do. We're going to get that number. And the offer that we got was a little bit lower than that number. And he's like, hey, you could just cut your commission. He's like, I'm like, well, I already did. But he's like, yeah. He had it listed before his house, previously before he met me. He's like, she said she was going to do it for free before. You made a lot of money on the buy side when they purchased the home. So, you could just do it. I'm going to buy more properties. You could just kind of make the deal happen. And I said, sir, listen, I'm like, and the backstory is I spent a lot of time with this guy. Okay. He calls a lot, which is fine. We talk. I do stuff for him here and there. Like I help him out. He helps me out. We have a very open line of communication. I go above and beyond like a realtor duty. It's more like we're like kind of like family. Like I do a lot of shit for him.
He's your dad, basically. Yeah. He's trying to act like your dad. Like he expects more than you because there's that commonality there.
Yes. Right. So he's like, just you could cut your commission, get the deal done, boom. And I was like, hey, you know what? If that's what you want, we agreed to a price, but if you want me to do that, fine, I'll do that. This deal wasn't going to work anyway, but he was just kind of setting me up for a future deal for me to, hey, you should cut it later. But I'm like, listen, if you want that, that's fine, but you're not going to get a full-time agent to help you. Like, I'm not going to give you my full time for no commission. I'll put it up. If we get an offer, I will call you. And he kind of got upset that I said, I'll call you when we get something.
Yeah, you're not going to be proactively doing your job because he's not paying you to proactively do your job.
Yes, because I have clients who are, and I have to service them, right? Like I have to be there for them, and it takes a lot of time. So I said, you know what? You want me to do it for free or little money? That's fine. I'll give you a call when something happens. And he got super upset. He's like, how are you going to treat me like every other person? And that's when I kind of got upset. And
how are you gonna expect me to do my job when you're trying to get me to do it for free?
Yeah.
What's the guarantee here that you're not going to run to another real estate agent the next time you need to buy a house the way that you're trying to say that, you got another customer or you got a customer for the next one too. Do this one for free. What sort of ass backwards reasoning is? No, man. You know what that reminds me of is literally my first few months in this business is every single customer wanted to do that.
So what do you do since you're new in the business, right? You want business. So were you cutting? Were you helping people? Like, what were you doing?
I think that, let me preface that whole thing by telling you, I didn't actually make any money for the first 6 months that I got started with Boston Auto.
Okay.
First 6 months. I started in like late July, early August. And the first check somebody stroked, Garo Lachinyan.
Yep, my boy.
Your boy Garo from episode number 1, he stroked the check at the end of December of that same year. And I had done like 5 deals before him, 5 that were not paid at all.
So tell me about those 5 deals. Why and what happened that you did not get paid?
So how you're so fired up when you get a lead. Like you get the lead and you're just so amped because you want to start showing off whatever you learned in training or whatever your knowledge is, or like you basically want to like prove yourself. Like I'm the guy for the job, right? And they're just coming at you with like these, like, I already have a price or I've already done this and that. And like, you're basically at this point, like trying to just keep the whole thing together. With you, Sean, your commission is already mandated. Like it's in contract, like it's expected. With me, it's almost like they're asking me half.
It's not real. What you're doing, it's not real.
Like they were trying to basically figure out at the same time what it is exactly that I'm going to be doing for them. And towards the end of it, they were thinking in the back of their heads, yeah, like, you know, is he getting paid by the dealership? Do I even ask him if he has a charge? Is he doing this for free because he's helping us? Like, the reason why people were thinking that was because they were friends. They were Armenians. God bless them. Like, they're the reasons why I was even able to get to where I am right now. But they were legit acting like you're my friend. Just I know you're in the business. Can you answer these questions? And those questions were pretty much, can you get me this car for this price?
So I want to dissect this real quick, okay? Because I think this is, I don't know if you've thought about it or if you've had this question. So you started the business and you had 5 people reach out to help you. They needed your help, right?
Yeah, and 2 of them were very, very close friends.
All right. Forget those 2 close friends. The other 3.
Right.
Probably Anto or something. Freaking Anto.
No, one of them was George, which I really don't mind. At this point, he's done 3 more deals after 3. Imagine. So he's done 3 more deals after that. And, you know, he's paid. He's good. Like, I don't even, like, at this point, I'm not even worried about that. He even pushed my business for me when I was first getting started. And, yeah, I don't even count that in there. But the other people, so they should have been paid customers.
So those 3, when you started, now, do you think it was a lack of you not having a system? Was it a lack of not upfront providing the value? So they thought like, hey, maybe I don't need to pay this guy. Maybe it's more of like, it's not a business. It's just like my friend who knows this guy who knows a lot of info. Like, where was the disconnect in the beginning? Which obviously you kind of cleaned up for sure, because now you're where you are. But in the beginning, like, where was that disconnect?
So I think in the very beginning, just like how in the very beginning of like a food business, whatever, you basically want to incentivize somebody to want to do business with you. And I didn't actually have a pricing system. And at the beginning, I'll be very straightforward about this. I felt awkward charging for my service because I myself didn't find the actual value in my service. I didn't find it as strong of a value to people because they didn't just yet. Because I had no track record.
That's crazy.
Right? You can't put if I myself at the very beginning couldn't put a value on my time because I had no experience. I've never billed for my time or my value. How can you expect for another person to actually respect that value or number that you're putting on what you're offering as a service?
So, yeah. So I want to go one step deeper, right? And this might help anybody who's trying to start a business, like in a service, like restaurant or whatever. So the first 3 people, right? It's like 2 questions. Was there any talk up front? Hey, this is my business. I charge people. Or towards the end, what was it like? Like, hey, I got you this deal. Now, this is how much I charge. Like, because I know that's awkward. That's super awkward. So how was that in the beginning, the initial, and then at the end when you actually did the deal?
I was so shy in the beginning that most of the time when people, like, I wouldn't even mention it. I wouldn't even talk about, like, this is my service charge and this is what I want to provide to you. Like, how am I substantiating my service charge, right? Most of the time that discussion never even took place. And the people that I didn't know would ask, and I would obviously tell them what my service charge was. And some of those people ran away. Like, they didn't even respond to my email. So that's what made me feel even more awkward continuing that. But I got over that. But, like, obviously it took a long time. It took a lot of Yelp reviews. It took a lot of everything, word of mouth, referrals, to even get to a point where you don't actually have to have that discussion anymore.
So do you think that's how a business should start? And it's okay. I mean, it worked out.
It was god awful, Sean. I do not wish that first few months on any, I do, this is where I'm going to cut. I do not wish those first few months on anybody, because let me tell you exactly how miserable it is putting in so much time and effort into a car deal to get nothing in return, to get a Yelp review or a referral in return. And a couple of those referrals were also done at like half price, right? So my whole thing is that if somebody's going to start doing what I'm doing, is to be a lot more confident in telling people up front, I have this system in place where, you know, I'll give you some ballpark pricing first before I even contact anybody, because the goal is you don't even want to put in any effort. If you don't know what you're doing, you don't want to put in any effort without having some sort of contract between you two. Yeah. And in that contract, it should say how much you're charging. Because what I lacked was taking my job seriously enough to be able to do this. But my whole thing was I was so shy because they were really, really close friends, or they were really, you know, they were part of the Armenian community. And at the same time, I have to say thank you to them, because they're the people that even got me to where I am now. Yeah. So it's almost like a double-edged sword. Like, listen, like they really hooked me up, but they really screwed me for like.
Yeah, isn't that crazy how it's so with like friends, family, community, that especially in Boston, it's kind of awkward to ask and, you know, hey, this is what I charge, especially when you don't have a track record, right? You don't have the history, and it's like, you're not getting paid by the dealer. That's one thing which I respect about you.
And some of them thought I was getting paid by the dealer, man. It was so disappointing, because I'm like,
because the dealer's going to be like, I'm not paying you. You're not doing anything. Oh, man. Why is the dealer going to pay you?
Straight up. So besides that, though, so the first few months, besides even getting Armenians to contact me and doing their deals for free, I wasn't actually getting any just regular customers. Mm-hmm. Because Google was doing its thing. Like, you have a new website, and it's actually trying to like index your website so people can actually find you. And then once they find you, obviously they think you're a scam.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, this guy's going to charge me $350 to do what exactly?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then I went out and tried to explain to people what it is that I do exactly. And then people were just like, dude, oh, wait, how do you guarantee you're going to get a better deal than me? Yeah. And I'm like,
I don't know.
I used to be a car salesman. Like, do you see? Like, so for me, those first few months, bro, like if you could somehow have like a degree in this to prove you're good to go, and the business itself, the business model has already some competition wherever you're doing it, you're good. But if you're trying to start a business that has zero or just like very minimal competition wherever you are, I don't know, you're like a beauty and makeup consultant, right? You have no idea who the hell is even going to buy this type of a service. Yeah. But there is such a thing in LA, right? No such thing here. Like, I don't know. So being able to charge for something, like imagine your wife paying for like a beauty and makeup consultation and not going on like YouTube or TrueCar.com to get that. Or like, imagine somebody like a 60-year-old realtor seeing a real estate coaching e-course pop up in front of him.
Yeah, just signing up and doing, yeah.
Like what? Like some people you can't prove this value to unless there's some other pre-existing business like that in place. And those first few months was literally explaining to people that a business like this exists somewhere else. And if they didn't want to understand that, explain to them why they need somebody like me. So I don't think it's just me, but me and you being able to now prove to other people why they need us. And it's not just me and you that go through this, but I'll tell you this much. I can easily sit somebody down, right, that has to go through this and tell them step by step. And you guys, just so you know, the intention is so that this whole podcast is literally directed towards people like you, me, Shant, anybody that has to go through that, like the bullshit in the beginning. This podcast is for you because there's a ton of bullshit. Like I'm dealing with it right now. I'm seeing the notification go off for the.
What's the bullshit that?
Oh my God!
You heard my bullshit for the how I started my week.
I stopped working out of state, like completely.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I stopped doing the deal concierge or negotiation service out of state, but low key, I'm still offering it in LA.
Okay.
Right. So this guy left a comment on one of my YouTube videos. He's in LA. I don't know what. I'm just like, email me. Let me hear it out. And one thing led to another. It seemed simple at first. I need a Honda CR-V deal. And it kept on going into further and further detail. And like now I'm in a position where a dealer in Glendale, because that's one dealership I contacted, probably pissed off at a bunch of brokers he's probably worked with before in the past, emails me back. He was supposed to be the guy to handle this deal. Emails me back and he goes, buddy, we don't have time for this bullshit that you're trying to put our sales department through. If you're going to go through 10 dealers and nickel and dime each one, this dealership is not where you should be doing it. And I wish you the best of luck for the rest of your car search. And I'm like, dude, you were supposed to be the dealer. Now that I'm reading this, I want to make a YouTube video about it because I'm so pissed off. Like, I want to put you on blast right now.
Yeah, so you singled him out as your dealer in California for this deal, and now it's,
like,
hey.
Our worlds collided. Like, he was supposed to be my guy, and right now for him, I'm supposed to be like his number one enemy. Yeah. And I'm just like, bro, what happened right now? So this is one of the things, like I got to now redo all of the work that I wasn't even supposed to do in the first place. And I'm just like I'm beat. Like I'm like beat after this one. Wow. So that's one thing that you'll go through is finding contacts. Once you have a contact, it's nurturing. It's like literally like at this point, I don't even know like what to call it.
Yeah, same in real estate. Contacts. No, it's same in real estate. Nurturing the past client, you know, like you don't want to be too abrupt. You don't want to be too like, hey, you know, me, but you want to make sure you still have that working relationship, that they know you. So if something, you know, like when you go back to them in a couple of months, they have your back, right?
100%. You personally, Shant. So my biggest problem comes next, but I'm going to ask you first. How many business contacts, mortgage brokers, or I don't know, realtors, title, realtors that you know that are very, very popular listing agents that you'll probably work with a lot. How many of these people have you pissed off in the first like few months of when you got started? Is it a short list or is it like my list where I had to call like 10 dealers? Coincidentally, those same dealers now, I don't think I can actually call here in Boston unless they got fired and then I'm okay.
Yeah. So it's a little different actually in real estate, right? In the beginning, lenders, and here in Arizona, we work with title companies. I think where you are in a real estate transaction, a real estate attorney does the transaction, but here it's a title company. So in the beginning, they're hunting you because they want your business, right? So like a dealership should, if they're smart, they should be hunting you, right? Because you have clients. And I have clients who are buying a house. You have clients who are buying a car. So the lenders and the title company people are hunting me because they want my business, because they're like, hey, we'll be your lender. You send us all your clients. So it's a little different. But the mistake I made in the beginning, which kind of was a headache, I didn't know what I didn't know, right? You don't know what you don't know.
Never.
So lenders, they all sounded great. They meet with me. They're like, oh, we have the best system. We'll be able to help your clients. Because, you know, in reality, I want my clients to be helped, because if they get a good deal, they're going to buy a house. It's going to be a win-win for everybody.
Referrals.
So you get sucked in by these lenders who are great, you know, at talking, right? And this is probably going to piss off lenders and title people, but I'm going to say it. So they all look good. So you start sending them leads. And what happens is you start sending them leads. And in the beginning, I don't know what I don't know. These lenders weren't facilitating these leads, weren't facilitating my clients, right? So I lost a couple of deals in the beginning of in the first few months in real estate because the lender wasn't doing their job.
Great.
So do you understand how frustrating it is? Brand new real estate agent, no income, okay? Right? No income. The only way we make income is we sell a house, and then it takes 30 days, and then you got to wait, right? So it takes a long time because nobody just shows up and says, oh, I want to buy a house. It takes time.
Yeah.
So working with these lenders, gave them a client. Okay, they're qualified. They're ready to go. It's like 3 months in. I'm excited, you know, like get my first deal going. Boom, it goes. The day before it closes, the lender calls me, says, hey man, we're not going to be able to close this loan. Like, what do you,
pardon me?
buddy, what are you talking about, man? Like they're getting the movers are coming. Like my client's like, it's, and he's like, yeah, we missed the fact that they paid child support. We didn't see that. I'm like, hold up. Is that something you ask in the beginning when you meet them? A checklist. Hey, child support. Do you pay it? So that deal did not close.
That is horrific.
For me, but more for my client, dude. Like, imagine.
Yeah, like same like right now. So right now I'm looking into buying too, and every single time I make any sort of like purchase or anything, like I'll text my mortgage broker, not even my realtor. Just be like, am I good? Like, can I charge up? Like, he goes, bro, he goes, find a house first. Like, stop asking me this.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm super. So hearing about that, man, that's a night. So what do you do now? You have to ask every single person, like, you pay your child support? Like, do they look like they pay? Like, yes, my clients, I didn't know because I learned this the hard way.
I can't ask that. That's none of my business, dude. That's the lender's job. And that's what I found out early is these lenders and title people were just, they're after me. They want to take me to lunch. They want to fluff me, all this stuff. And they want to sell me about how good they are. But then when it comes down to it, they're not doing anything. So it's funny now that I tell any lender, any title person that calls me to meet with me, they want to take me to the lunch, dinner. Hey, let me take you to this event, this game. They want to like schmooze you, right? I say, never invite me to a game. Never invite me to a happy hour. Don't invite me to a party. Don't invite me to lunch. If you want to meet, come into my office. We'll talk for 20 minutes and that's it. And I'm not trying to be an asshole or anything, but it's like, dude, I have to work for my clients. I can't sit here and go on free lunches and all this stuff. Like, tell me what you want and we'll deal with it.
Yeah.
So that's a struggle to find those partners that are good in the beginning, because you don't know who's good and who's not. And
Sean, man, you're raising such a good point right now, and I can't even emphasize. This is one of the traps that I fell into too, was like they're all happy and down to take care of you on the first deal. Like they'll do like this blowout deal.
The dealer, right?
Yeah, they'll go crazy on this deal just to be like, see, we're capable of giving your clients really hot deals,
Yeah.
and we want to see you succeed, and we want to see you and us do more business together. So I'm like, sick. You know what? I
You're
found
my
my
guy.
guys. I don't
Yeah.
even need to shop anymore. And that's mistake number one. Because
Yeah.
here's what happens. You do that, you fall into this trap of like, yeah, I got a strong relationship with this dealership. When you have the exact opposite of that. What you've got right now is a memory of a very, very good uh, deal that you had once, right? And then the second time around, they go in there and they get completely ass raped on the second deal that you set them up with. No idea. No idea it's going to happen until, your Honda Accord is 350. I'm like, buddy, you just did it last month for 260. What do you mean? Like,
And
what happened?
you look like the idiot to your client because you told them, hey, I got you. I got this hookup. This is my guy. You go there. They say 350. Now your client looks at you like,
And here's the deal with that. So sometimes they'll do the 260 until the client gets there and they're like, all right, like let's run your credit. Let's see what it's like. And like the guy's like a 710, no problem. He should be at tier one. And then automatic, whatever they can do, automatic, just try to get some money back from this
mm-hmm.
deal. Do whatever you can. And all of a sudden I'm getting a phone call like this guy is telling me that my credit's not good enough for a tier one. And I make a call and I'm like, buddy, Honda is like 700 plus. He goes, no, he's a 697. I'm like, a 697? That's what that's where your credit check pulled back? And I'm like, buddy, I gotta take this guy out. No. Let's make a couple calls. And I'm like, dude, this is what I'm gonna go through every single time now because you guys put together this fantastic deal for me on the first time. Like, it's a night. Do not do step number one. Do not go to lunch with any person, and do not accept these like, oh, we want to do more business with you, and we're gonna take care of all your client. Always be suspect of these types of like.
Yeah. So you in the beginning had no credibility with the client. They didn't want to pay you. And then on the other end, the dealer did not give you any credibility. So they're like, so you're taking
put me in their pocket. What they were trying to do was put another dealer on the ground disguised as a broker or a buyer's agent. So I during the first few months, man, I burned through at the very least like 3 of each brand.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had like two Toyota dealers that at this point I can't even call even to this day.
So side note, I don't know much about your business, but it sounds like dealers are kind of idiots if they're not trying to bend over backwards for you, no? Like, I mean, if you're a source where I'm going to get clients to come in and buy a car,
yeah,
and you have the control where the client goes, I would want to actually be your friend. Like, why are they stupid?
See, it took me a long time, but I did eventually do what you did, where you're telling them, listen, don't take me out to a basketball game. Don't take me out to lunch. Cut the bullshit. So what happened was that Sean, I constantly get emails from local dealers. Some of them, I take them up on the offer. Some of them, I just realize it's complete bullshit from the very beginning. Like I recognize which store they're from and I know what types of deals they're even capable of. So I tell them, okay, great. Right? So at this point, I've dealt with enough dealerships to know when I get approached by a dealer, hey, I want to take care of you. I'm like, buddy, you guys wouldn't even go below invoice the last 5 times I've tried. So I started to do what you did, and it's worked out fantastic because, like, let's say I'll get approached by, I'm going to use this very, very specific guy, Brian from Toyota. He reached out. Do you know when he reached out to me? He reached out to me last year when I was on vacation with Sako.
Okay, in Greece.
In Greece, 1 year ago. He made a follow-up email because I was just like, all right, I already got enough Toyota people, right? But one by one, they started
dropping,
getting weaker and weaker, right? So he reaches out to me 6 months after. Hey, you have any Toyota deals? I'd love to be your contact. Yada yada yada. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give this guy a shot. What can you do on this Toyota Sienna deal? I was trying to do it for a friend, and he gives me like this really weak number. I'm like, great. See you later. But I realized afterwards that I couldn't even get the number anywhere anyway, and he wasn't that far off. And he had followed up with a text message 2 weeks later, and he goes, how did you end up with that Toyota deal that you're trying to get from me? Did you get it? He followed up with that question. Like, was I not able to get you to where you needed to be, or was nobody able? Right? And he did this, and he proved a very, very good point. He said, Ari, he goes, if I give you that type of a deal as our first deal, I'd be setting the wrong impression and expectation from you going forward. He said this to me.
So honesty. Wow. Shocker.
He said this to me, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to send you another deal. I send him another deal, takes care of it, and he does the most phenomenal job, right? I send him another one. Same thing. Phenomenal. Third one, they fuck it up completely. There's a scratch on the car. There's 100 miles on the car.
Shit.
So I message him, and I'm like, listen, I just got this what seemed like a 10-page email from my client who's, mind you, has bought 2 Toyotas from me at this point from 2 different dealerships. This is the third one I'm sending them to. So he goes, let me look into it. I'm going to give you a call in 1 hour. I'm like, bullshit. You're not going to give me a call in 1 hour. I've been fed the same line over and over again. My phone rings 45 minutes later. Okay. We're going to take care of the scratch. We're going to replace the whole piece. And the 100 miles on the car, I want to give her an additional, on top of her lease, an additional 500 to compensate for the 100. So I think by the time that I even got to this point where you found a contact, right, that really isn't trying to take you out to lunch and he's actually trying to give you the same level of service over and over again, bro, I've gone through like 5 Toyota deals. Do you know what that means? 5.
So it's kind of, and that's a great lesson in there, right? Because, I go through that, and it's like, for me, the lenders, right? And it's for them, if they're not following up with me, right? If they're not checking in how I'm doing, what are they going to do with my clients, right? So what I do now, a lender or title person hits me up, messages me. Hey, how's it going? Instagram or whatever. Let's meet. I ignore it, right? Because I want to see how it goes. Because if my client ignores them the first time, are they going to stop or are they going to keep going? So then I'm like, okay. They hit me back up. Hey, let's go out to this. I got tickets to this event. Let's go. No, I can't go. I'm sorry. I'm working. Okay. Well, let's go to lunch. I'll take you to lunch. When are you free? I'm never free for lunch. Okay. Next time. This one guy was doing this. He's like, well, what if I come to you? I'll just come say hi. I'm like, oh, I'm always in appointments. I'm just testing. I'm just trying to see. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm nowhere. You know me, Adi. I'm not an asshole. I'm just like, I want to see where someone's at. He's like, all right, let me send you lunch one day. I bring my lunches meal prepped. I eat. No. I bring my food from my house. Thank you. He's like, you know what? Let me send you some. What's your favorite alcohol? What's your favorite drink? Soda, whatever. I'll send you. I only drink water, man. Like, I don't drink anything but water. So he's just 2 days later, water sent to the office, like a couple of cases of water, right? Which is cool. I don't say anything. Hey, how was the water?
It's great.
I'm like, hey, it was great. Thank you so much. But the fact that someone follows up with you and checks in, like how Brian, you said, was doing, just shows when things hit the fan, like it did with your client, they're going to take care of it. So there's an important lesson, I think, in that, where people need to really take care of your client, my client, and take care of us. So like, I know this is like super side topic, but I think it was just a great lesson where don't ask us out to lunch and just get the deal done.
No, in the first 3 months, you're going to love getting taken out to lunch.
I loved it. It was such a waste. Like, I was just like, you know what? This is the first 3 months, I'm going out to lunches. I'm getting people coming to the office, pitching me this, that. And you know what I used to think? Adi, do you know what I used to think? I'm working. I'm busy. So when I used to come home and Betty, my wife, would be like, oh, how was work? Oh, I was good. It was busy. But it was like, I wasn't busy trying to find clients, help clients. It was busy. And you get sucked into that when you're new and you don't know anything, because you're like, wow, this is how the business is. You see it on TV. They go to lunches. They go this, like real estate.
Celebrity realtor.
Yeah, yeah. And dude, it was a big waste of time my first few months doing that, man.
So much wasted time, bro. So much wasted. I can't tell you how many days I've spent, and it's not even that. You know what it is too? It's so many conversations you have with the wrong people and not figuring out quickly enough if you're wasting your time having that conversation. I can tell by the smell of an email if I'm going to be wasting my time typing this, man.
Yep.
It makes you so upset, because that first 3 months, Sean, there was so much that goes through your head that you just want to be the nicest person in the world. You don't want to have anybody have just the sense that, they can't work with you. So now it's come to a point where me personally, after learning everybody that comes your way is not going to be a client. Some people are even sent there to really test you and get under your nerves. That first few months, I don't think that I've ever wasted that much time in my life. But it's good because it brings you to a point. It makes you learn exactly who's a waste of time and who isn't.
Yeah.
And you're quick to understand it. And this isn't something that comes from reading a book or reading a self-help, and it won't come from that. It'll come from.
It can't be taught. I don't think anybody could say, hey, watch out for this step, this step. This is what it's a waste of time. Like, I don't think it's
industry specific, Sean. Tell me, is it not? Tell me if I started spitting out to you real estate stuff, right? From the tone of what's being said to you and the actual the context of the conversation, can you not tell me, hey, this kid has probably talked to another realtor or is a part of the MLS listings already, gets them. How could you have gotten them? You have to have already had a realtor, number one. Yeah. From how much they know about the process. Possibly if he has a pre-approval and he sounds like he's kind of new, you can sort of sense that there's some bullshit being fed to you already, right?
Yeah.
The same way for me, if somebody comes to me and says, my credit is great, but I'm kind of hesitant to fill out a credit application. In the beginning, you're almost like, no, 100%. You don't want.
Yeah, I get it. You don't. You feel like you're intruding on their. Yeah. I'm a scam. You don't want to give me your credit.
But the guy with the 805 credit score, you raise the topic of credit, and he will literally look at you, and you could tell from his face that you're all set. You don't even need to ask anymore, right? But you look at the guy with the 650, my credit's good, just for right now, don't run. You could tell you couldn't tell that before because you don't want to hurt people. You don't want to give them a reason not to work with you.
Yeah, man. I think one thing when I started that really was another big time waster. It was in real estate, right, there's so many shiny tools, so many ways to make it, right? Like, try this way, you try it, no, but try this way. This way is this is the way you make it. This person did so much by doing this. So you do that, you're like, oh, it's not working. Someone says, do this. This is the way. So in the beginning, you're being spun around like an idiot because everyone's telling you do this. And
Love it.
And in reality, it's like, you know what you have to do, right? Like deep down, you know what you have to do.
Work.
Yeah, but deep down, you're like, you don't want to do that work, right? Because you're like, yeah, I don't want to do that. Like that seems scary and out of my comfort zone. So if I just click this button, I'm going to get free leads. Yeah, $29.99 a month for sure. Yes, I'll do it. You know, like I don't have to work. Yes, sign me up.
Yeah. All I need is an Instagram shout out. All I need is somebody famous to buy a car for me.
Oh yeah.
Sending out DMs to like Celtics players, and you're just like, dude, what am I doing? Why am I wasting my time at 2:00 in the morning? This guy's. You're not thinking to yourself, buddy, I look like an idiot. You're thinking to yourself, this is the way. This is how I'm gonna get big. Man, the first 3 months, Sean, I think I bought like 3 or 4 different web hosting services. I bought a 1-800. I wasn't even getting calls on it. Oh my God, man. Now I don't even know why I have the thing anymore. I don't even pick up my 1-800 number. If you have my number, you have my number. That's it. Like now it's like, dude, like all this stuff that I had bought 3-4 years ago, I'm getting billed for now, and I just gotta like why did I buy that? What the hell is wrong? I had like 8 domains. I had like lease with BAC.com. I had so many domain names. One of them renewed for $175. I had to go in and cancel all these domain names because I thought if I have this domain name, right, I'll look more legit. Somebody will want to buy from me. You buy up so much bullshit in the beginning. Like, this is going to get me the deals.
Yeah. And then, like, what started happening towards the end when I started realizing I actually need to work, somebody was like, you should farm an area. And I was like, oh, in real estate farming, what's that mean? Like, just send out mailers to people in a neighborhood that you want to work in, and they're going to call you. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's fucking great, man. Like, I just have to send out mail, and I just sit back and people call me. Like, yeah, why not? Like, and then I started realizing, like, before I started doing it, I'm like, wait, man, like, no one's going to freaking call me. Like, yeah, it works for certain people. Not saying it's not doable. I'm sure there's real estate agents doing that. But, like, let me practice getting beat up a little bit. Let me get in the dirt. Let me get in some trouble, man. Let me go face to face with some people and really get my feelings hurt a little bit before I start just sending mail out to people.
Do you want to hear about the deal that I actually had to pay for? Like,
yeah.
It's not that I didn't make money. Like, I did it for free. It actually costed me $200.
Yeah.
So one of my first clients, again, you're trying super hard to please. You're doing what you can. You don't really have many dealer contacts. So you're just going with it. You're going with the flow, calling it as many dealers as you can and trying to get the deal. I end up getting the deal. It was supposed to be $2,500 total down. And then the first payment's included. And then I think $300 a month. So $2,500 down, $300 a month. Follow me. The guy gets to the dealership, checks out the car, car's fine. Salesperson confirms $2,500 down, $300 a month, no problem. Gets into the finance office. The finance office prints up the documents, $2,500 plus first payment, $300 a month. The guy's like, oh, wait. It was supposed to be $2,500, including the first payment on this. So the guy calls me, and I'm like sick. I just made, because my fee at the time was $300, right?
Yeah.
So not only did I have to reap because I didn't get the deal I promised, right? not only did I had to obviously refund the 300, but guess who had to pay for that 300 that's being paid to the dealership for the first payment, because it's 2,500 including the first payment. That's me. Yeah.
Is that why you always tell me, because you've helped me on a couple of our deals, that you say in finance, send me the picture, look at it, make sure it's right before you sign?
Big guy, I ask the same question to the same people 3 times before I send them the customer's contact information. Is the 300 including tax, and is the 2,500 including first payment? Is it including everything? Yes. Okay. 10 minutes later, 2,500 is total due, right? I don't want to have to refund my fee is what I'm referring to when I ask 5 times. Is it all in? Because this deal actually costed me $300. I was kind of pumped up too, because I was excited to actually start having money.
Yeah, like a check BAC. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. One of my first paying customers, right? My account balance at this point is like $800, 500 of which was Gatos, just so you know. Never got touched. It was like my first deposit into that account. So it was pretty depressing. And I guarantee you, probably not you, Shant, because, or probably not any realtor, because unless there was some like catastrophic incident that took place during the deal, you're not going to like actually take money out of your pocket.
No, it happens.
It does?
Happens. Oh, yeah. People stroke some big checks, bro. 5Gs, 10Gs. It happens, dude. It freaking happens. Luckily, it has not happened to me. I think a couple $100 here and there it has. But let's say, actually, I don't know, man. I try to stay away from that shit, man. So, but I know of realtors who had to cut their whole commission check back to the client because they missed something on the contract. It was their fault.
But did it actually cost them is the question, because it's very easy to say this cost me money when I'm actually trying to say it cost me my commission. But did it actually cost them money to do the deal?
Sometimes it does, yeah.
That's what's scary.
It is. It is. That's why you have to be super, like, communicate, know your stuff. And in your case, it was just like the dealer, like, yeah, man, it's scary, dude, because I wonder how many people go through that, man.
It happens. It still happens to me. I'll triple check 3 times, and the person will call from there, and I'll be like, no. Just give me
no, I know. I'm just saying in business, I'm sure it happens in all businesses, man. Like, how much that must happen where you have to, like, stroke a check because you messed up, man. It's awful. People don't understand that. Like, it's tough.
Yeah, that's the one scary part. Anybody that's getting started should watch out for little details when it comes to shaking hands that will ultimately cost you money, because that's happened. The deal costing me my commission has happened tons of times when I first got started, but it actually costing me money, when that happens and you actually feel the pain of that happening, oh my God, man. Thank God that hasn't happened any time in the past couple of years, but when that happened, that was the biggest wake-up call. That, like, you got to be serious about what you're doing.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah, man. But yeah, Shant, on that note, I think I did want to discuss something before we end this episode 2. I was going to ask you, does Thursday sound like a good time going forward to do this podcast every week?
Yeah.
Okay.
So are you saying there's going to be a third?
I think I want to do a podcast. A third podcast would be cool. Right now, guys, we're recording and we haven't published episode 1 yet. Obviously not episode 2 yet, because we're currently recording it, but right now is the time where we're trying to figure out not only just how a podcast works for me, but when we're going to be publishing the podcast too. So I think Thursdays is a good recording day, and it's a good, feels like a solid publishing day, maybe in the morning.
Yeah. I think, we could always adjust it, but I think that's a good start. And no, hopefully everyone enjoyed it, man. It's just kind of us. We're not here to give people advice. We're just here talking about what's going on, what happened.
Yeah,
we'll
there's
have more.
Too many people on Instagram giving like life coaching advice right now.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Yeah. And that's something we'll talk about maybe in the future, about how you don't, like, how you get by without even listening to that stuff. We'll get into that shit, man. We're two dudes, man, two cousins who just don't, how do I say this?
We're not scared to fuck up here and there.
Yeah. So hopefully you guys are enjoying this. Obviously, as we get bigger and bigger or more and more episodes in, feel free to reach out to us, message us, say, hey, can you chat about this, or what happened in this when you started? And we'll talk about our experience, man, and just talk about what's going on this week. I'm sure we'll have another shitty situation next week. Hopefully positive.
Yeah, let's start off with more shitty situations in the beginning, Shot. But I was going to ask you a question. Do you know what episode 3 is? Do you have it in front of you?
Let's see. Episode 3. When did it click? When did it click?
Excited for that.
It didn't even click yet. That's the question.
Yeah, I'm excited.
If you can't see Adi right now, he's like cheering right now. Like he's so happy.
I got a good one. Next Thursday, baby. Get excited.
Like, click.
Like it. All right, yes, Shots. I got a call to hop on right now. Okay. That's why I'm like shooing you off this podcast.
I'm gonna go to bed soon. So
you?
Yeah.
Lucky you. You're a 3-hour time difference
behind.
So that okay. Good for you. Great. I'm jealous, kind of. But
yeah. It's dark out. It's time to sleep, man. That's it. All right, guys. We'll see you and hear from us next week. If that made sense.
We haven't decided when we're gonna publish this yet.
Yeah. End it, Adi.
All right, guys. Leave us some notes, guys. Let us know what's on your minds. Any questions? Maybe we can address them before the podcast starts on future episodes. And we need a good tagline for the ending. So if you guys want to help us out with that, we're more than happy to hear it.
Please.
Good night, Sean.
See you later.
Hold on. Stay on the chat.